a lot of times, I kind of get a vision on them, and then we get halfway through, and
Or
part of
you
my
have a
problem.
house finished and you decide to add to it.
No,
Yeah.
literally, like we'll have a plan, we'll have everything going, and then I'll show up to a job and a wall is gone. And I'll be like, well, what's going on? They're like, well, Devon said.
Welcome to episode 3 of the New Edge podcast. I already screwed up and had a cable, so that's good. All right, I'm Devon West. As always, this is Andrea.
Hi, guys.
And then we have a new guest today, Brian Hurt. Brian is a big part of our team on the renovation projects and all of the flip houses and all of the other, honestly, just the wild shenanigans that we kind of end up in, which could be anything at any given day. Brian became a part of us probably a little over 2.5 years ago or something.
Two.
February
23.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's flew by.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is our third year.
Jeez.
So we're going to talk a little bit today about some of our projects, some of the problems we've had, some of our favorite things, things we're going to look into going forward, just kind of talk about all the randomness and all the shenanigans that we end up into. As many of you know, we buy houses. We fix them up and sell them to veterans is kind of our goal. They don't all go to veterans, but a big part of what we do is try to get them all to veterans, or at least as many as possible. I kind of usually find them, figure out what to do. Brian comes in, basically
Comes up with a great plan, and then Devon.
Yeah. What do? I wreck it.
He goes bougie.
Yeah, so
Always.
Brian's second job is making sure that I don't go too crazy like I always do and overdo these houses.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, I kind of get a vision on them, and then we get halfway through, and the vision is like, well, we could do this too. And it's part
Or
of
you
my
have
problem.
a house finished and you decide to add to it.
No,
Yeah.
literally, like we'll have a plan, we'll have everything going, and then I'll show up to a job and a wall is gone. And I'll be like, well, what's going on? They're like, well, Devon said. And
Yeah.
the plan is, Brian, we're just going to paint, we're just going to do this, we're just going to do that, and then a wall disappears.
The last one was adding a wall. We added a bathroom after the house was done.
After it was done.
Yeah. So really, you don't know what these houses are going to be until you're done.
And after the cleaners had been there,
Yeah, the cleaners have been.
we decided to add a bathroom.
Yeah. It's not always about the money. Sometimes it's just it needed to have a bathroom.
Well, and that house sold quickly, and that was probably a part of it.
Yeah. One thing, what's funny about what we do is there's always a different perspective. And me and Brian are very similar in the fact that we don't like to cut corners and we don't let anybody cut corners. But the difference is he likes to have a plan for everything he does in his life. And I am Devon, the anti-plan West, I think. I don't have plans. In fact, if you give me a plan, I'm probably purposely, subconsciously not going to follow that plan. So we don't really butt heads. He's just kind of learned to deal with me and my antics. And the houses always turn out great because both of our strong suits are kind of counterproductive, but they do
You
help.
guys complement each other.
They do help. And then Andrea is in the background keeping us together and keeping all of our back end stuff together. So we've done, I don't know how many projects, probably 15 to 20 by now. And that's just a guess off the top of my head over the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah, more than that.
Yeah.
Projects.
Yeah. Full renovations. We've done houses that were basically full rebuilds. We've done houses that were just come in and put some paint on the walls, or at least supposed to be that.
We've never, ever followed through with just putting paint on the walls.
Okay, but we will someday.
Okay.
Someday. The next one.
Right.
Well, probably
No.
not. No.
If we buy a 2-year-old house, we can probably get away with putting paint on the walls.
Perfect.
Doubt it.
So, what is your favorite project that we've done so far, as far as the entire process of the project? And what did you like about it? What do you like about what you do every day, and how these things come?
This is going to sound silly, but I think it's caca.
That was the first
The
one.
very first one.
Yeah.
We learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Brian,
That's
that's
caca.
caca. So we bought a house in Independence, Missouri.
Oh, yes.
You remember this? I don't think you would walk into it.
I know. Not the first time.
We'll share the video after this launches of the before and afters of Kaka. But Kaka House got its name from,
Caca.
I don't know how many different brands of Kaka. I think there was human Kaka, roach
Dog.
Kaka,
Dog caca.
dog Kaka.
Cat caca.
Yeah, all the kinds. And when I learned Brian was a fit, so I've got a rule that I use, and it's pretty much, I'm not going to ask anybody who works for us to do anything I wouldn't do. And Brian has that same rule. And that's not always easy to show up for. But Brian, when we were doing the demo on this house, I come in one day and I go down there, and he's down there covered in caca. From the ceiling tiles of the basement.
Mouse
which-
caca, not human caca.
Yeah, I wasn't going to clarify that. But that house kind of set the stage. We met our most influential and our best guys that we maintained to this day on that first project together. Where Danny was a huge part, and he came in kind of late, and they had been doing quick flips for a lot of investors and doing a bunch of different things. And Brian and I aren't the kind of guys that are going to throw lipstick on anything. So they were like, you really want to do, they were kind of excited to get to go farther than they normally were, instead of just painting and making it, I guess, a little bit cosmetically better.
I think they were doing a lot of rental make-readies,
Yeah.
some lower-end stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of what we see in this business. Is a lot of people come in and basically just do a make ready. They just kind of clean it up a little bit and call it good, and we just don't stop there.
No.
Yeah, Andrea, when you finally did go into the Kaka house, what was your thoughts on it, and did you think that we could end up getting it where it ended up at?
It smelled so bad. It was so bad. I walked through the house with a sweatshirt over my face. It was pretty rough, and it was really scary. And I felt so bad for everybody that was in that house cleaning it up.
Yeah, yeah, that one.
That one has left a lasting impression. It's beautiful now.
Have you ever seen a picture and you're like, I can smell that picture? Like, that's this entire house. So
Through the carpet, into the hardwood.
yeah, through every. I mean, it was just.
Oh, it was so
wild.
gross.
It was wild. Andrea, I know you haven't really been in the day to day, but you watch all the bills come in. Which one has been your favorite transformation? Because you get to worry about the pretty stuff. Like, you don't care about foundations and sewer pipes and all that fun stuff. You worry about how they start and how they finish. Which one's been your favorite transformation so far?
That's hard. I'd say probably cedar has been my favorite transformation.
Really?
Yeah, just
That was
because.
a big one.
Yeah, it was a lot. There was a lot to go on in that house, but it's beautiful. I could see and enjoy cooking in the kitchen or sitting on the back deck or any of it. It's very refreshing to walk into that house now.
I'm kind of thrown back by that. I did not expect you to like that one. That is my least favorite project we
Really?
I hate
Really?
it. I hate it.
Why?
I don't know.
I liked that project. I felt like that project just drug on
Yeah.
And on.
but it was just so big.
And every time we did anything, it was just more.
You pulled paneling off and there were termites. You got the basement empty and there was a problem. You did anything and there was an issue. But it's so pretty.
Well, it also took a house and like a family's in it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Cedar house they're talking about was in Lee Summit, Missouri. It was a doctor and his wife that had lived there for years and years, and that was a hoarder house. So I think we had 10 40-yard dumpsters just to get the stuff out
When the
of it.
family had already taken out 6 or 8.
And you had people come through and grab whatever they wanted.
Yeah, we had some
There
woman,
was-
and I'm not kidding. We try to give back, and there was so much stuff in this and it was really nice antiques and stuff. So we just put a feeler out there for the world to come check out this house, and we had people come from all over the place to just take what they wanted. But this one girl in particular, I don't really have any idea who she was. We found out she ended up breaking back into the house. We were like, you guys got to be out by 5. We're not going to stay here anymore. She ended up breaking back into the house and spent the weekend in there crawling through just stuff. The basement was floor to ceiling stuff.
Avon,
All the Mary Kay and Avon you could ever dream of.
like old doctor records.
Yeah. And then once we got all that, what was kind of cool, once we got all that stuff out of there, remember, he had like a library built down there.
Yeah.
That you had no idea. It was like an archaeological dig. Because when you got down there, it had rugs all over it. It was super cool.
He had like a little office set up in the back corner.
And but before, you couldn't see within 3 foot of the stairs. It was just floor to ceiling
That's
junk.
wild.
Yeah. That one was interesting. Lots of stained old glass. That was a cool one for that. But that house just seemed like it was a thorn in my side, and it's my least favorite one.
Sorry.
But that's okay. That's why. Like
that was my favorite finish.
My favorite was probably the Lone Jack house we did on Slim Beeman. That house was in shambles. It had every grade of 60s shag carpet you could have, and it needed a full gut. Linoleum of all kinds. And that was a full gut job. I think one of my first real estate clients ended up coming back wanting to move to Lone Jack to start over. And they ended up buying that house before it went to market as a single mom. And a big piece of this has been taking care of veterans and single moms. So it was just so cool to get that house where it was. I think that's our biggest transformation. The pictures of that thing are wild.
Probably close to it, yeah.
That one's probably my favorite by far. And then maybe the last Raymore house might be a close second.
That one turned out good.
That was one we ended up having. Same thing. We listed this one. Most of our houses don't ever come to market. We try to find the veteran buyers before they come to market.
Yeah.
We were able to we went to market, ended up having a random lead from a place I've never seen before. Somebody just fall in love with this house. It was a veteran buyer. The best buyers we could have ever dealt with. And then, a lot of these houses, it's the story around them that I get addicted to and that I really like. Like it's the day-to-day that kind of keeps us rolling.
We bought that one from a veteran.
We did.
Yeah.
And he had lived there since it was new, had a ton of foundation problems. That was another one that fought us all the way through.
He was just overwhelmed.
Yeah, that one was a lot.
It's a big house.
Yeah, it was about 3,000 square feet. Of course, we had to add some extra basement finish and stuff, Brian. And a covered deck and a big, all the things. The big old deck, as my tagline is.
God.
But I think what separates what we do and what most people do is we truly care about the people we're buying them from and who goes into these houses.
Yeah.
I've seen some bad ones on the market just in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, you've been
we get
looking.
to see from the real estate side.
Yeah. What's fun is as an agent, and that's kind of how I've figured out how to design these houses is we've done a lot of custom builds, and everybody will buy things for certain reasons. And people will not buy things because they don't have certain things, like laundry on the main level is a big one, and a master bathroom is a big one. That's the design side of this is kind of what my favorite piece of it is. And Brian likes going out and joking and having fun with the guys, making fun of me most of the time, honestly. And then, Andrea, she doesn't get to go out and play with us very much because she has all the mess here, picking up our crumbles. And
Neither one of us are real organized on the paperwork side.
no.
That's okay. I don't think I want you guys to be.
Yeah, everything we touch, she has to redo a couple times.
Even when we try and help.
Yeah, when we try to help, we make it worse.
Because we add,
Yeah.
like, there's 3 different jobs for one job.
Yeah.
Yes.
So keeping
Bless
the
you,
books
too.
straight on all these different jobs and making sure our numbers are right is where Andrea excels. And obviously, just kind of babysitting us and putting us in
Well,
the
and
right
it's
direction.
tough because at any given time we could go multiple runs and different jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's be honest, every job has a name and it's not what you think it would be.
No.
We try and keep them the same, though.
Yeah. Once they
Yeah.
get a name.
Yeah, we just finished a really cool one for a cop buddy of ours. I think everybody kind of wants to flip houses, and I talk to people that are wanting to get into it. And I think the general consensus is HGTV has kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
What do we get? A week of good time at the end of it? Like right now we're pending, we're almost getting ready to close. Everything's done. Now it's fun. But other than that, it's dirt, it's paint, it's
You guys are grumpy a lot.
yeah. Well, it's not all sunshine and rainbows
No,
over
it's
here.
not.
But yeah, we
There's some stress, but
mainly deadlines and me. Like honestly, Brian stresses me at probably changing things. I know that goes crazy, and then my stress is changing things and not everybody else understanding what goes on in here. But this is a crazy place.
well, when you're dealing with as many guys as we have, you're always going to have something.
Yeah. Between our own guys, we've got 14 guys, I think, every day. And then plus we have subs that move in and out. So you're probably dealing with 20 to 25 people every week, if not more than that.
Vendors.
Yeah, not to mention vendors and getting
That's
stuff
my
here.
biggest stress is the stuff
Yeah.
that's out of our hands.
Yeah. When you order something and it comes in wrong and we're on a deadline.
Yeah.
Because again, we don't cut corners.
And
So,
it's not their fault. Like it's just it's part of it, but
Yeah. Once in a while it blows up a little bit. But what I'll say is our vendors, for the most part, we treat them well, just like our guys, and they'll do anything for us. And they do go above and beyond, trying to get stuff out in a timely manner.
that's the stuff that we've been able to do over the last 2 years is narrow those down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say I've been doing this, 5 years now, pretty consistently. And then once Brian came on board,
It became a whole different thing.
it became a whole different level. Our houses are a different level. Everything we're doing is a different level. And we see so many of these flip houses, and it's just so much more difficult than people think it is to do it right. It's easy to go in and paint, put some carpet in it, and call it good. But to truly take these houses and transform them, redo the floor plans, remove structural walls,
Windows.
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 Yeah, add the windows, replace the windows, and doors, and move doors, and add doors that aren't supposed to be there,
More rooms.
or rooms. Yeah, it's just every house is a different challenge, and Brian and I both have ADD real bad, and his is more OCD, and mine is truly attention deficit. So I have a million things going through my head at any given time. So our conversations are kind of funny because they can go probably like this podcast, I'm assuming. So we'll talk a little bit about one house, and then all of a sudden the next sentence has nothing to do with the new house.
Trail cam pics.
We can talk about trail cam pictures and deer or turkey hunting,
or dogs or
or dogs. So
Not your wives.
This all started.
Our beautiful wives.
Yeah,
I know better.
They're just amazing.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
because this all
you guys
started
do come up
on
in
a hunting
conversation
trip.
quite a bit.
I'm sure we do.
Yeah.
That goes back to the stress part.
What is that song? It's my anxiety.
Stop.
Yeah, that's you. Sorry, I'm a little awkward. But this all came about on a hunting trip. So Brian called me to sell his house. What did you do before you got into real estate? And I know you had done some flips before.
Yep.
But what made you make that leap? And are you happy you did it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was at a point I needed to make a change.
Yeah. Yeah. How long did you own your lawn care company?
13 years.
Yeah. And what did you say the biggest struggle was there?
The labor side.
Yeah.
I had figured out the business side, the customer side. It was the labor.
Yeah. That's the hard part even now. That's why we started subbing our guys out and taking on different remodel projects and doing decks and siding and windows for people. It's because we have great guys that we've trained up and they know how we need things to get done.
And guys that have been there from day one.
Yeah, we've got guys that drive here over 2.5 hours to work for us every day.
It's crazy.
And have for years. That's kind of a crazy accomplishment. And that's something I'm probably more proud of than the number of guys is that I feel like we've taken very good care of them. And if they need something, we're there. And they're not just workers, they're friends.
Hold on, squirrel. Brian's still supposed to respond whether or not he likes it. He made this decision.
Oh, you just want that answer, don't you? She just wants that answer.
Today, yes.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, ask me again.
Well, that's because I have nothing to change today. Like, we're just not there. We start 2 new projects next week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll talk in 3 weeks. It'll take 2 weeks for me to change that whole plan. And then,
It's already changed twice, and we haven't even closed on it.
yeah, that's a deal too. But it's fun. Every day's a new day. Every day is something different.
It is. And it some days suck. But you're going to have that no matter where you're at.
Yeah. But it's nice having the flexibility if something happens with our families or something. I know I've got the right team behind me. Brian knows he has the right team behind him. So if you need to go somewhere, you know you can do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's worth everything, is that having the right people around you just, it even on the bad days, like it could be worse.
Yeah.
Like I know I've got good people around me. So when I'm down, I can't tell you how many times I'm frustrated. Something breaks or something.
Cost another $10,000.
Well, we had one the other day,
change.
just last week. There was a mistake on building a new fence. That one cost me about $2,000. And I was pretty frustrated when that happened. And then Brian somehow wasn't that time. But it's usually
funny how that works out. Like
it's so often
that I
like,
get so pissed off about and you don't.
He doesn't care.
And then something like that. And same thing like that. That was was it done the way we wanted it? No. Was it done with intention? Yes.
right. That's
Was
the
it
thing.
done how the city wanted it? No.
So sometimes just it costs money. You got to pay to play. When stuff happens, it's good.
We have some awesome guys.
And they'll do it.
At
And they
this
never
point.
question if
Same thing. Yeah, on that.
no question.
Guys, you got to do it this way.
I said,
We
okay.
went out and tore down everything they had done.
Brand new
and
fence.
Redid it.
270 something feet of brand new 6-foot privacy fence. Tore it down and rebuilt it in a day. Didn't have to rebuild the whole thing, but they were able to invert some of it. But it was all had to be touched.
It's beautiful.
And it's beautiful. And they did it right, and no corners were cut. And they never cut any corners to
There
begin
was a
with.
difficult neighbor, so the guys put the fence facing the wrong way.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're remodeling houses, you don't get to pick who you're remodeling houses next to. And
Kaka was terrible,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
but in the end, everybody was happy.
I'd say our design eye is pretty modern farmhouse style houses, bold colors.
Yes.
Neat selections. Our houses, you can pick them out when you drive down a neighborhood. And whenever we're designing a house, I literally go stand in the driveway and look around. And I try to contrast our house against anything that's over there. And that's how I pick my colors. That's how I pick everything.
Or the whole HOA.
Let's not get started on HOAs. My blood pressure's going to raise and my veins are going to pop out of my head. Yeah, let's not deal with HOAs right now. But while we're on the topic of HOAs, why are so many HOAs stuck in the 70s with their color selections? And when are we going to be able to have common sense HOAs that are, if it looks good, you take care of your house, then we're all here for the same reasons.
Define. Are you complaining about a black roof?
I am complaining about everybody wanting just the boring brown roofs.
Okay.
I can understand not wanting a pink roof or a red roof.
Back to being a little bit.
But earth tones are earth tones.
Yeah.
I don't know. This can get me on a really big tangent because common sense is just lacking.
Well, that's the problem, is that HOA bylaws have to blanket people who don't have common sense.
I guess. And most of them don't have anybody that wants to do it because they're volunteers and they're kind of forced to deal with it.
But let's be honest. If there isn't an HOA, you could end up with a partially red painted house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Been there. Yeah, that's true. So
there is a HOAs are rough,
HOAs.
but there is a benefit to them. There's a strong.
And we've dealt with some great HOAs.
Yeah.
And actually, that one didn't mess with us at all.
No.
We even put the same roof on the neighbor's house.
Yeah. No, that was a complete. This HOA wanted all brown. That neighbor had to sign off. We made him sign off because ours at least had some brown in it. This one is completely black.
It's different.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. It's a solid black roof, but it's beautiful.
But it's not weathered wood.
It's not weathered wood. So
2 black sheep.
Yeah.
Literally.
There's more in there. Yeah. It's okay. Cedar was the same way.
I know.
We had a war over the roof color there.
We know. Oh man, that was another neighbor situation.
Best looking house in the neighborhood, and they're gonna complain about the roof.
I
color.
forgot about Cedar. That one.
Remember that?
I forgot about the neighbor, and I forgot about the roof.
Next door neighbors were great.
Yeah.
Yep.
The guy across the street was great. And we actually went to school with the guy who put the original black roof on the house across the street, and he sold it. Well, we got it taken care of.
It doesn't have a black roof, does it?
Our house didn't. No.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't think we ended up with a black roof.
I don't remember what we ended. I think we ended up with black sable, which is kind of a brown and black.
Yeah.
And that
well, we wanted to go all black.
Yeah, I wanted to go all black, but that one didn't work out. So that's a good compromise. That's a good color. Those Owens Corning's roofs and some of these new architectural roofs, you can do so many different things with them now because they blend so many different colors together. So you can kind of almost do anything with them as far as colors.
Yeah.
If you make that right selection. But
If you need a roof done,
we've been doing more and more roofs.
just make sure it's not boring.
Windows, siding, exterior paints. It's all in the prep work. And what I will say is our guys do a great job on the prep work. And we've spent 2 years making sure that happens.
So, in wrapping up this one, if there was something that you could go back and we could redo it, what would you pick?
I would redo the house and start over.
Yeah.
It would be the Great White Buffalo House.
That's the one I was going to say too.
I agree.
I don't think
But
we missed
why?
anything on it. I think so. That house was big. It was 3,000 square foot before we started.
Mm-hmm.
We went in and finished that basement.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up losing $20,000 on that house.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it needed the basement finished just because it was ready to be finished. Realistically, we could have broke even and probably made a little bit of money on that house had we not done that. So that's the one thing I think that we have done over the top that I would have done differently.
Okay.
But
I would have moved the kitchen to the back.
You
Yeah, I would-
removed it completely?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
there goes,
talked
there
about
goes
that.
our profit again.
I was going to say,
We're
I
back
can't
to
believe
20
I'm
grand.
the one saying this because
That's
that's
I
a
am very
Devon
surprised
thing.
by that.
But I would have put the kitchen in that dining room area and had that more open
Yeah.
That makes sense.
in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a cool house. It had an awkward layout. It was a custom built house when we started it.
Man, that was a hell of a story too.
But yeah, what was it the week before? So me and Andrea, we have 4 kids, 3 of which were hers from a previous marriage. I had 1 from a previous marriage. But her ex-husband and my daughters spend half their time on that road right down the street from this house. And what was it? 3 days before closing, this crazy guy starts shooting out of the front of the house
Out of
through
the
his
front
door.
door.
And this is a nice neighborhood.
It's a
very,
nice
very
neighborhood.
in
Yes.
Pleasant Hill,
This
Missouri.
is wildly abnormal, but it's a whole nother reason why you just need to.
So he shot
Go.
the door, he shot the glass door, shot a car, shot the house across the street because he said somebody was trying to break in. He was just
Yep.
Looney Tunes.
Right
We ended
before
up
closing
paying him
to get out.
$5,000 or something to leave. Plus, we got stuck with something else. Plus the doors. But it was one of those things like we were already committed, and my kids are down the street. So what do?
You get them out.
So we paid for it, which also didn't help us making money on that house. We knew it was tight to start,
But same thing. Even the less profitable houses have built the company
Yeah.
yeah,
and the guys
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we've learned learned stuff from each project. Even the ones going in, we knew there wasn't much money, but we were able to build on the quality of the guys and so even the ones that we didn't necessarily make a ton of money on they've all been valuable.
Oh,
Yeah.
every single one of them. Down to the
Yeah.
relationships. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. And I think if we were to start that one over again today, we could have saved a pile of money the way we could do it. We've
And moved
just
that kitchen.
Brian would move the kitchen. We would not have moved the kitchen. But he would have complained about the kitchen just like he
I
still
mean,
does.
I get why you would.
No, I get it. It was an awkward layout the way they did it.
If you made that a formal dining room and moved that kitchen to the living room, I think that house would have sold faster.
I bet. Yeah. It was awkward. Like the way it was awkward.
It was a big kitchen.
It's pretty.
It was just so choppy, and you can't eliminate. Our big deal is eliminating the walls
You couldn't.
and opening things up. And you
wasn't
couldn't
one-
really
it wasn't
do it
possible.
there.
You
but
couldn't
you could have
eliminate.
moved that kitchen to the back, and that would have given us more of an open layout, which is what we try and do with even
Everything.
70-year-old houses.
yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew, what would you have changed on any of our projects?
I don't know.
You're the one that stuck
Buffalo
us.
would have been the one that I would have changed. I probably wouldn't have finished it, or if you did finish it, just not created the extra side bedroom, just done one big, massive room.
Yeah. Because that made it a 6-bedroom house, which was a waste. Nobody wanted it.
Right.
Well, the problem we ran into on that one was the family that needed that many bedrooms couldn't afford the house at that time because interest rates were real high.
it was rough.
And then the people who could afford the house didn't necessarily need all those rooms
Yeah.
Yep.
because it had 4 up,
Yes.
Yeah.
master on the main, and then we added a true bedroom.
Yeah.
But you could have turned that into like a media room or
That'd be a
workout
great
room. or-
office,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for someone working from home.
I'm curious what they've done with it.
Yeah. As we continue to do these, we'll have Brian on again. I think we'll probably do one before we start maybe one of these houses. We'll do a conversation about our first walkthrough And then maybe we'll come back and revisit it afterwards and see.
I think that would be great.
I think that would be hilarious.
I think
that way
would
we
be
can
great.
see everything that you change.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll call that episode Receipts.
The one receipt that we do have is we bet $1,000 on the firehouse. That might be my favorite project too.
We still have that on video too.
That
Old
was a
Brian,
good one.
that was a really good one. I don't know how I missed that, but Brian said that we could not sell it for over $250, and he bet $1,000. So I stole his grandchild.
We now have Rowdy.
So he had a litter of puppies coming, and he owed me $1,000. So we got a puppy.
We have
So
a puppy.
I mean, that was win-win-win.
now you get a
It
win.
was a
It really was
win-win-win.
And the way I looked at it was $1,000 was nothing if we sold it for a lot more than what I thought.
Well, and it's super cool because sure we sold it for more than we thought, but we sold it before it was finished to a family who's been looking for a house for a
veteran.
A
while.
veteran. Yeah, and,
So-
and a friend of ours. Like,
Yeah.
like that was cool.
Some of the
Yeah,
stories
that
that
was
have came
super
from
cool.
these things are just too coincidental to not be guided. And
Yeah.
I just feel like everything happens for a reason, and we're put in this situation for a reason.
Hands down.
And we had one where, like Kaka House, that lady passed away. They came to us with it. She had moved her mom to a home, didn't know what to do with this house. It was awful. She didn't want to go in it. We bought the house, did the house. She sent me this crazy long message how thankful and happy she was that we did it and that it came and went back to a veteran buyer.
Yeah, which was super cool because the veteran buyer came from the real estate side, and
Yeah.
bless his heart, he had PTSD, and the going through and all of the battling for winning at that point in time was way too stressful. And the agent on the real estate team, Leslie, was able to get him in, look at the house, had no competition, and
Yeah.
they got a gorgeous
Stress-free.
house. Yeah,
In
got a great
in a hot market, the VA buyer doesn't stand a chance.
no,
Yeah.
that's really sad.
And
It's-
we made an offer on a house last week that had 18 offers, and we were cash and didn't get it. A VA loan doesn't even get
They
considered.
could go 20,
in that
30 grand over,
situation,
and that's not worth anything.
unfortunately.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's rough.
That's
It's
actually
wrong.
why we're
It's
here.
wrong. Yeah.
Because when the real estate market was so crazy, all of our veteran buyers couldn't get deals done. So we started buying them and making them theirs, which I don't want to get in a fight with the government, but they really need to do a good job at taking care of these guys because they've done everything for you. And
It's wrong.
The process of the VA loan isn't that bad. It's misunderstood, but the government makes everything so much red tape that it just takes forever. There's a lot of hiccups
Couple
that
extra
don't
steps.
need to be there.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a drug out, longer
Yeah.
closing,
Longer closing,
more chance-
closing costs.
and more chance of being pushed out even further.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Yeah. So, regardless, any veteran buyers or first responders, we pay all their closing costs, whether they ask for it or not. On our most recent house in Kansas City, we bought that house from a first responder. A first responder got back into it. When I was talking to their agent, they were preparing their offer, and I told them to put $5,000 in closing costs in because we pay them whether they want it or not because he's a firefighter. And she didn't believe me. She goes, "Well, if you get another offer, are you going to accept it?" I was like, "That doesn't matter to us.
Yeah.
We're paying it whether you want it or not, and we're providing a home warranty also."
Yep.
I just feel like those guys are mistreated so much and just taken advantage of. The least we can do is build in some closing costs for them and
Well, and I tell people all
make
the time,
it a good house.
we're not doing charity. We're able to make a living doing
Yeah.
this, but you can make a living and help them,
Do what's right.
and that's cool.
Yeah, and I don't sleep at night because of my back pain. I'm very happy with what I do every day. So we truly love what we do, and it's fun.
Yep. But well, on that note,
Andrea's wanting to wind this thing down, so
'Cause
we'll
you
come
got-
back and
you
do
can
this again.
talk
I can
for
go
a
on every
long
tangent.
time.
Yeah, I can talk about this stuff. I'm a nerd. So I can geek out on this.
We'll come back with the receipts episode. Maybe
stay
on the Blue Ridge house. 100%
No.
Blue Ridge house.
No. This sounds like a really
Because
bad
that's
idea.
going to end up with a master laundry
All right. Well, at the end of the
upstairs.
day, we're out of
Finished
time.
basement.
And Brian's going to be wrong on the Blue Ridge house.
Thanks
Mark
for
my words.
joining us.
Thank you guys again. Subscribe. We've got
Like,
more of these
subscribe,
coming.
share, and stay tuned.